if you belong to a trade exchange, you may be able to offer your Scrip certificates into the trade exchange for people to be able to purchase when they need them so that you can use your trade currency to be able to buy other things that are in the network that you need now. Welcome, everyone, to episode 9 of Barter Scoop Insider Circle. And today we're going to kick it off with a subject that we've only touched a little bit on, but we're going to go a lot more in depth today. I want to say, hey, everyone that's watching on YouTube or any of the video channels that we'll have this loaded up to. And we just want to just get things kicked off real quick. Remember, barter first, cash last. In the news this week, everybody's, across the country talking a little bit about the government shutdown. And one thing that we found interesting was, the letter that went out to the furloughed workers, suggesting to them that, maybe you need to try to barter or swap with your landlord. And, that's not a bad idea, whether you're being furloughed or not. So if you have any friends or family that are affected by the shutdown right now, and hopefully by the time this airs, it'll be over with. This is not about passing judgment to either side, but hopefully it's over. Tell them to listen to this show. They'll get some good ideas on how they may be able to be more creative in resolving some financial situations that they may be in. And like I said, hopefully that'll all be wrapped up real quick. Well, today's show is about Scrip. Scrip, S-C-R-I-P, as in Paul. Not script, like a script to a movie, which is something different. But Scrip is pretty much what the IRS calls gift cards or gift certificates. And I'm pretty sure everybody at some point or another has bought a Starbucks gift card or Amazon or Best Buy, or you went to a massage parlor and they were selling $50 gift certificates. We've all used gift certificates at some point or another. And one of the things about that's interesting about Scrip, if you're a business owner, is you can create your own. Now, I know that may not come as a surprise to a lot of people listening, but for most businesses, we only tend to do something like that, once a year at special occasions, or we'll make one because somebody asks us, hey, can you give me a gift certificate or something like that so that I can give to a friend or a family member? Well, that's a good time to use Scrip as well. But why not look at it from another perspective? Why does Amazon, let's back it up a bit. If you go to any grocery store or Walmart or pretty much anywhere these days, you'll see a whole section full of gift cards just waiting to be loaded up with $25, $50, $100. Some of them have preset increments. Some of them you can just tell them how much you want to put on there. Now, wait a second. I know you're probably like, what the heck does this have to do with bartering and all of that? We'll get there. Just be patient with me. But Scrip is a very important thing that you'll have in your arsenal of things to use. Remember, Scrip is gift certificates. Well, if you go to any of these grocery stores, you see the shelves loaded up with a whole bunch of these gift certificates and gift cards just waiting to be loaded up, like I said. And why do businesses do this? Well, number one is because you just created a product. I mean, it's a product. It doesn't take up much space. It's not like a TV set or furniture or, something that's, going to eat up a whole bunch of space and need a lot of maintenance and cleaning. It's, plastic, or it could be in your drawer as paper. It doesn't have to always be a hard plastic like what you see hanging up in the stores. It could just be paper. We'll put an example up of some Scrip in different forms of Scrip with the post that'll go up with this podcast right here, so that you'll see various examples on how it can actually look. But it just doesn't take up that much space, and you can start selling Scrip tomorrow. And the thing is everybody is not always ready for what you have right now. Now, you give them an opportunity to say, hey, well, why don't you buy this gift card because you might need it one day, or somebody that you know may need it, or you're going to give it as a gift or a present or whatever the case may be. You can go ahead and have it so that you're able to do that. Well, that's a significant advantage for the business owner because, like I said, you created a product, you took in some revenue. Now we'll get into how do you keep up with that revenue, and is it actually income or is it kind of in limbo or what the case may be. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. But yeah, Script is just amazing. It's portable. You can have a drawer with $10,000 worth of, gift certificates, and it's just ready. And another cool thing is that it's easy to ship. So if you're dealing with products or a service, well, not necessarily a service, but things that you have to ship, gift certificates, they can be emailed. In some instances, you might want to actually ship the physical copy of it, but in most cases, it can be emailed, and you can have QR codes. They've got all sorts of services out there where you can create your script on your own to be able to keep up with it and be able to better track it. It's also transferable, which I think we've talked about as well. It's easy to pass one certificate from one person to another. And the biggest thing, that's one of the biggest advantages. It's essentially like printing money for your business. When you see Amazon, sell $100,000 in gift cards, everybody that gets those gift cards aren't running to their phone or grabbing their phone or running home to their computer and typing away, going in and just ordering something right away. Some people are waiting for that perfect moment. But in the meantime, back at the ranch, Amazon is sitting on all of this money that hasn't been used yet. Now they have to deliver on the gift cards, otherwise it'd be a breach of contract. And that's another thing to note. A gift certificate is a contract. You're agreeing to give the bearer that those products or services in exchange for whatever the denomination or dollar amount is on the certificate. But in the meantime, you have this revenue that is coming into your business that you're able to use it as part of your cash flow, which is amazing because it's something that's being sold. And this is kind of when you look at people who get into doing Groupons. Some people, if you think about like a Groupon or Living Social, Scout Mob, or any of those types of coupon sites, people are actually buying a Groupon and they may sit on it till the expiration date comes or right before the expiration date comes, and then all of a sudden go out and use it then. And in some cases people forget to use it, and that's called breakage. Breakage is pretty much, I had a gift certificate, there's an expiration date on it, and in some states you it's like California, you actually, I don't think in California you can have an expiration date on your gift certificate. You might want to look that up. We'll put some notes in that, but I don't think, some states have funny laws on how you create your gift certificate. So you want to make sure that you talk with your accountant, or in your state which laws will apply to your gift certificates in regards to expiration, as well as how do you account for the revenue that you're taking in, and when is it considered revenue and when is it kind of like in a limbo state. It's kind of confusing, but it's very simple, and we'll put some more information and some links up that'll help shine a lot more light on that, so that you'll be much more knowledgeable on it. But yeah, so the expiration date comes and you don't use it. So now this individual might have $100 gift certificate that they didn't use because it expired. And this happens all the time. In fact, an interesting thing to note is that there is $1 billion in unused credits on gift cards annually. $1 billion. That's 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 absurd. That's incredible. $1 billion just that goes unused. Now, not to say that some of the individuals won't come back and use it next year, but that's like just money just floating around in cyber space, so to speak. So why not for your business create gift cards and sell them in different denominations? Now, there's some um, one of the things that we learned in real estate was you never buy like you sell and you never sell like you buy. Well, the same rule applies to gift cards. You don't want to sell your gift cards the way that you would buy them. When you're selling your gift cards, whatever legal what can I say? Whatever legal restrictions you can have in your gift cards in your state, it sometimes is a good idea to put those in place. You know, like blackout dates, certain restrictions apply, and I'm sure you've seen some of these things. You don't want to make it to the point where it's overly restricted and no one wants it, but you do want to have some restrictions in place. That way, you don't get overloaded. You know, for instance, if you're a florist and you do a gift certificate, you might have limited availability on Valentine's Day because you're going to get hit hard on Valentine's Day, and you might not want all of your gift certificate individuals redeeming on that day. So you might have some restrictions for things like that. And like I said, we'll have some more examples of ways that of things that you'll want to take into consideration when you're making your gift certificates for your business. But when you're issuing your gift certificates, if you're a hotel, you don't want to have spring break. Spring break might be a blackout date. Now, if you have low occupancy at spring break right now, then you might not want to make that a blackout date because you would want more individuals to come in because crowds beget crowds. So, based on your business and whatever the laws are in your state, you'll want to think about how to apply your stipulations to your gift certificates. I'm not an attorney. This is the disclaimer. So seek out any professional help with that. Like I said, we'll link to some stuff that will be, that will help really formulate the ideas that you'll need to have. And anybody that's on our newsletter, that subscribed to our newsletter, and I should have said this at the beginning, but if you're subscribed to our newsletter, we're going to send out our Scrip checklist as a part of to all of our newsletter subscribers. And if you're not, shame on you. You won't get it, or you can go subscribe and get on the right track and you'll get a copy of our Script checklist. And there are really a lot of things that you want to take into consideration when you're creating your own script or gift certificates or gift cards, whatever name you want to go by after this show, when you're making your own. And another thing too, there's the keeping track of all of it. When you have, let's say, $1,000 or $10,000, and you're selling gift certificates, so you've had multiple individuals come into your shop and they're interested in gift cards. How do you keep track of that? Well, there's some software services online, but it can also be as simple as an Excel spreadsheet. And then if you start selling a lot of certificates and you get to the point where it becomes a little bit much to keep up with, then you might want to consider some of the software as a service or SaaS options that are out there. But at the beginning, just keeping a simple spreadsheet of your gift certificates that you have outstanding. That way, you always know what you're responsible for um, delivering on, and it'll be helpful overall too. And then it'll help keep up with your what you need to spend in case you need to bring in some extra inventory to be able to satisfy the gift cards or gift certificates that you have out there. But just imagine for a second, you take $10,000 worth of gift cards or gift certificates for your business, and you print or issue those, and then you start to sell those. Like I said at the beginning, these individuals aren't going to be running into your location to redeem them all at once. And we touched on breakage, but let's look at breakage a little bit more. And if you're Whole Foods and you're printing out, you're issuing gift cards, right? Your breakage might be 3 to 5%. It's always When I first learned about Script, everybody was like, "Oh, there's a 35% or a 30% or a 25% breakage rate, so you can pretty much count on that as being profit." Well, in 2017 or 18, that rule kind of changed, and you kind of need to know what your breakage rate is, and you'll start to learn that with that spreadsheet that you'll have over time. Certain individuals aren't going to redeem the gift certificates. They're going to get lost in the wash machine. They're going to get lost in their car. They're going to forget. They're just going to expire. You're going to have various scenarios that are going to take place where people just aren't going to redeem their gift certificates or script. And that's considered breakage. Now, let's look at a company like I said, Whole Foods. It's not too many people that's going to be forgetting to redeem their Whole Foods gift cards. So Whole Foods and places like Amazon, their breakage ratio is could be around 5%, whereas a massage parlors may be 30%. And it's just all in how much your particular business is in demand and how excited individuals are. If you get some Whole Foods or whatever vendor that is very popular and in high demand, people tend to use those a lot faster. They're not gonna let it expire for the most part, but it still does because it still does expire because, like I said, they may have a 4 to 5% breakage, so they still are losing some. And if you issue, let's just say in Whole Foods example, let's just say they issue out $1 million in gift cards. 5% is nothing to sniff at. So you'll start learning what your particular breakage ratio is. And after a certain amount of time, based on the rules in your state, that breakage can be counted as profit, which is pretty cool. Now, we're not trying to get over on anybody. It's just that people just forget. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. But you have to always be prepared to deliver on any outstanding certificates that you issue, unless they've expired or there's some sort of stipulation that um, has passed or that they didn't meet certain obligations to be able to use those certificate. Now, let's flip the switch a little bit. So you got, let's just say, $5,000 in certificates, and let's just use something um, not your traditional, not your traditional business. Let's just say you have a dog grooming service, and because I know people sometimes say, "Oh, that's not going to apply to me. I don't know how it could work for me." Let's use a dog grooming service, and maybe this one will even be too easy, but just walk with me for a second. You're a dog groomer, and you create $5,000 worth of gift certificates, and you go to, let's just say, the car lot, and the guy at the used car lot or the car lot, he's selling a car, and you're super interested in it, and in conversing with him, you find out that he's got four dogs or whatever the case may be. Now, this is the perfect storm, but just understand where I'm going right now. And you offer him dog grooming services. Now, in your traditional bartering situation, he would have to say, okay, I'll come over there and I'll get X number of dollars in services with you in exchange for you grooming my pets. What the gift certificates do is they actually give someone something that they feel is tangible, because people are accustomed to using gift certificates. So it's not like, hey, you're just telling me you're going to do these services. I've actually got your certificate with which is, like I said earlier, is a legally binding agreement that you're going to deliver those services. I have something tangible. So these certificates can be traded. Now, you might say to yourself, well, I could just do the services, generate the cash, and then go buy the car. Yeah, you could. But when you create these certificates, this is services that you haven't performed. Number one. Number two, you will perform them, but number one, you haven't performed them. Number two, you're buying the car at whatever it actually costs you to perform the service whenever you perform the service. So it's like buying at margins. And if you listen to any of our other shows, you've heard us talk about buying at margins. This is buying wholesale. This is using your own currency to be able to purchase a car. If you belong to a trade exchange, you may be able to offer your Scrip certificates into the trade exchange for people to be able to purchase when they need them, so that you can use your trade currency to be able to buy other things that are in the network that you need now. Powerful. Powerful. Being able to legally print your own currency. Think about that. When you have a trade credit card, right? Let's just say Walmart. If you have a Walmart store card, is that Walmart store card good at Targets? No. Is it good at Quick Trip? No. It's only good at Walmart and maybe Sam's Club. That's because that currency is Walmart or Sam's Club's currency that can only be spent in that universe. Same thing you're doing with your own business is you're creating a currency for your own business, and it's just called Scrip or gift certificates. And then you can use this to leverage into things that you might want or need. Now, in the dog grooming example, that's just one example. You could be a hair salon. You could be an accountant, a tax preparer, an attorney, a dry cleaners, you name it, window washer, a landscaper. It doesn't matter what your business is, a consultant. You can create certificates for your business and offer them now before the services are actually being delivered. Now, like I said, you have to be able to deliver on your certificate, but you're able to give up gain the revenue and resources from those certificates right at the beginning. So this gives you a good diversity. This is adding another product that you didn't already have to your inventory. So that's something that you definitely want to add to your equation. Like I said, if you're already a newsletter subscriber, you'll get our Scrip checklist when it goes out. If you're not, sign up and we'll make sure that you get a copy of it as well. And for anybody listening to any of our shows, we would really appreciate it if you would leave us a review. If you feel like these shows are crap and they're no good, say that. Then that way we know that we need to improve and we can only get better. If you feel like it's been of value and helpful, we would really, really appreciate it if you would leave us a review on whatever player that you're listening to. If you're listening on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you're listening to our show, we would appreciate a review. It really, really helps out a whole lot. Well, that's all we got for this week. Hopefully this is helpful. If you got any questions, send us an email over at info@barterscoop.com. If you're not subscribed, I think I've already gone through that a number of times. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscription and the like button. I really would appreciate it. And we're going to end with this. The person that says it can't be done shouldn't interrupt the person that's doing it. Until next week.